All right, new question. What we're going to do first here is read that question sentence because it's way too important. We don't want to jump the gun. Here it says, what was the speed for the second leg? All right, so we have to be very, very clear here, everybody. Remember that it's way better to plan things out first so you're not redoing things over and over again. Be very careful. It says, what was the speed? Okay, that's rate. But it says specifically for the second leg. That's the key word there that we really ought to pay attention to. Now, let's see how we're going to get through this. First, I'm going to read the story just to make sure I know what I can imagine. And then I'll read it again with the numbers so I can set up my solution. So very briefly, a driver covers this distance in that time. And that's total. Okay, so that's the whole trip. That many miles and that many hours. Now, if anybody here was tempted to just go ahead and say, oh, here's my distance, here's my time, I can divide to get the rate. No, that's not going to work. Because remember, we're looking for the rate, yes, absolutely, but it's specifically for the second leg. So that's really what we need to see. So even if you're struggling with the calculations, it's way more important to understand what we're trying to find. So let me write this down for us. What we want is the rate, but specifically, this is for the second part of the trip, or the second leg. This is really going to help us out. So when we read this, we have details about the first leg, this many miles, this rate, and you might be thinking, I don't really need that. I don't know. I don't think I need that. Well, the thing is we do. Let me show you why. Everybody, if we're trying to find the rate for the second leg, I am going to need the distance for that second leg, and I'm also going to need the time. Because remember, everybody, the formula needs to be consistent. If you're trying to use the formula to try to find the rate for the second leg, you specifically need the distance for the second leg and the time for the second leg. Don't be lazy. The more you try to fight that, the more wrong you'll be. So let me talk to you first about the easier part. Everybody, if we have the total distance right here, and then we have the first leg's distance here, what am I supposed to do to find that distance? What am I supposed to do to find that second leg's distance? What do you think? Now, it won't be division. It's going to be subtraction. Because if you think about it, everybody, let me write it down over here. The total distance is 189 miles. The first leg, so I'll just say leg 1, that distance was 105 miles. So if we want to find out how many miles are left, hey, we're good. We'll just subtract. And once we do, 9 minus 5 is 4, 18 minus 10 is 8, and we have 84 miles left. So boom, we just discovered one big piece of the puzzle. So I'll go ahead and include that right over here. 84 miles. Look at that. And we're going to use the same exact idea to figure out the time. We'll do the same thing. Let me show you. Everybody, answer me this. What is the total time for the entire trip? What are we told? What did they say explicitly? Yeah, right over here, we see 4 hours. 4 total hours. Okay, great. Let me go ahead and write my total, which is 4 hours, and we'll subtract leg 1's time. Let's find that time for leg 1. How do we do that? Well, guess what, everybody? Let me just write this over here in blue. Let me just show you. For leg 1, we have a distance of 105 miles, and we have a rate of 35 miles per hour. Everybody, what are we supposed to do to get that time by itself? What am I supposed to do here? Let me highlight this for us perfectly still right there. That's leg 1, first leg. We're supposed to divide to get that time, exactly. So once we do that, boom, divide by 35, divide by 35. And with enough mental math practice, you'll know what 105 divided by 35 is. That's going to be 3. I can show you right over here, 35 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, carry the 1. 3 times 3 is 9, and carry the 1 is 10. So yeah, absolutely, it checks out. So we will get the time for leg 1 being 3 hours. Now, are we done? No. Remember, everybody, what did we say? To get the second leg's rate, we need the second leg's distance, which we have, and the second leg's time. This is leg 1. To get leg 2, we'll just finish the subtraction that we set up here. Everybody, finish it up for me. What is 4 minus 3? I know, toughest question of the day. 4 minus 3, that's just going to give us 1 hour. Booyah. Now we've done all this work for a good cause. We can move all of this, if this feels like behaving, right there. I'll give it one more shot before I just delete this entirely. Perfect. All right. So now we have leg 1, 1 hour. That is, or excuse me, leg 2, we have 1 hour. Now that we're here, I know we're fatigued, I know we're tired, but we are ready to solve this because I can plug in the distance, the rate, and the time and be done. My distance is 84 miles. My rate is what I'm looking for. My time is 1 hour. Everybody, if we divide both sides by 1, nothing changes. R times 1 is just R. And so what is that rate, everybody? Yeah, 84 miles per hour. There we go. Our complicated problem isn't as complicated as we might have thought after we had a chance to review it. The correct answer is 84 miles per hour. Answer choice C. All right, next up, we see that we have evaluate 8 plus 3n minus 2n when n equals 6. So here's what this means, everybody. N equals 6 is what's going to be replacing each instance of n. So we see the n right here in front of the 3 and another one in front of the 2. So there are two ways we can really think about this, everyone, and I want to show you both ways because it's worth helping you wrap your head, your mind, around evaluating expressions with some mental math. So here, first, let me just shoot with the raw method, plugging in 6 for n. So we have 6 right there, and then 6 right here. What's going to happen is we are going to then multiply each of those by 6. So that'll end up being 3 times 6 is 18, 2 times 6 is 12. And then from here, we'll move forward with adding these together. So that'll be 26. And then we subtract, and that'll give us 14. So before I continue to showing you a much easier way, let me go ahead and just highlight the correct answer right there. And then we'll move forward, and I'll go ahead and solve it the other way. So we have 8 plus 3n minus 2n. Everyone, tell me really quick, if I have 3 of something and I take away 2 of something, what do I end up with? What's 3 minus 2? Yeah, if I take 3 and subtract 2, I'm just going to end up with one of those things. So when I combine like terms here, that should be a term that's familiar to you, right? Combining like terms, 3n minus 2n, that's going to give us 1n, which is just going to be the same thing as writing n. Now, everybody, look at what happens. When I replace n with 6, look at how much simpler this problem becomes. 8 plus 6 equals 14, and we're all done. And we're all done. So, whoops, I had the wrong correct answer there. That's going to be D14. Sorry, I was trying to do two things at the same time. But the correct answer here is D14. But I want you to see exactly what happened here. One way, we can just plug in immediately, and then we can do all of the work. And then the other way is first understanding, hey, can I combine any like terms? Can I clean anything up first, like we did right here? And then we plug in, and then we're good. So there it is, my party people. Let me know if that one makes sense, and I hope you're ready for another one.